Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We've got Vance.
I'm going to be the best friend you could ever hope for and the worst enemy you could ever have.
Oh, there was more. I cut it off. Great. We got Chris.
I've had my eye on this 12-year-old for a while.
I'm Kia. Hi, welcome to the show. Wait a minute. There's a fourth friend here. We got Nick.
Eat glass, lawman.
Welcome to the show, Nick. When is the last time we had a guest on this show? It must have been.
We had Mike
at
for,
least 50 episodes.
Mike for Super Metroid last year.
Okay.
He was surprised. I actually think he, like our guest here today, read our long read of whatever we're reading then.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, yeah. Well, welcome to the show, Nick. What should we talk about? Should we talk about Nick first, or should we talk about what we're reading first?
Yeah,
I guess we got to care about
introduce our guest first.
Okay. Yeah. We got to care about the guest. Welcome, Nick. Nick and Chris are part of the Your Stupid Minds podcast. If you're a regular listener, we talk about it every time at the end of the show and just talk about what they're doing. But yeah, tell us more about who Nick is.
So my name is Nick Noble. I do a bad movie podcast with Chris called Your Stupid Minds. And I guess in honor of April Fool's Day and bad things in general, it all lined up because I think for whatever reason I was like, Chris, you should do All-Star Batman and Robin because it's like the only comic that I've read all of. And it's bad.
Why this one? Oh no, why this one? Of all the comics you could read all of.
It's short. So
That's
I've
true.
read
It's very
more
short.
of other comics, but I've read all of this.
Right.
That's fair.
Right. Reading the first 15 issues of Spawn is only like 1/10 of all the Spawn there is.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I get it now. And yeah, this is a pretty short series that we're jumping into. All-Star Batman and Robin. Was it only 9 issues total?
10 issues.
10 issues. And we're not even going to read all of them because we cannot be bothered to do all that for this episode. We're only going to do issues 1 through 6. You know, maybe we'll come back to the rest at some point.
Issues 1 through 6 that we're reading here did get published like from 2005 to 2007. It took 6 issues. It took 2 years for 6 issues to come out.
And then like 7, 8, and 9. Okay, forever.
Between 4 and 5 was an entire year.
Jeez, that's insane.
Yeah.
And then
to be fair, reading more of the comic does not make it any more cohesive or understandable. Like it's just constantly introducing new characters and new plot lines that will not be paid off ever.
Oh wow, yeah, this is not. Well, yeah, we'll get to it. Before we forget, though, we're also going to be continuing our read of Avengers, the Korvac Saga. We're on issue 172, which Nick also jumped straight into to read with us. So that'll be fun to talk about. Definitely a different tone from All-Star Batman and Robin, who I will, from here on out, refer to as ASPAR, because that's
I think that's how it was written down.
The acronym. Yeah, ASPAR. We have... God, do we got to talk about the All-Star line and what it was? We read All-Star Superman.
We did. So, I mean...
And it was great.
So, let me paint you a picture. It was 2005.
Sure.
Yeah. The Ultimate line of Marvel Comics was fucking hot as shit. Like, from like late 90s to 2005. Like, every single book was really great. Ultimates 2 was still going on at this point. Ultimate Spider-Man was great. Miles Morales hasn't even been introduced yet. Ultimate X-Men is still pretty good at this point. And Ultimate Fantastic Four is, all right. But it's just like, it was a no continuity, easy entry point for people to get into Spider-Man, X-Men, the Avengers without the baggage of like 30, 40 years worth of comics. And they'd put like good teams on it. They didn't really extend it very far. And it was a fantastic line. And logically DC, who's always kind of had to do like massive reboots to try to, because people are intimidated by comics, obviously. We're like, well, we're going to do this. We're going to do a similar Ultimate line. At least this is how it was first presented, with Superman and Batman. And it's going to be hunky-dory. We're going to put our best teams on it. Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely are going to be on Superman, which we read. It's great. Frank Miller, who, like, this is 2005. This is Sin City has just come out. Like Daredevil with like Elektra's death had just come out like a couple years before. And everybody was like, well, the comics were great, but the movie fucked it up. Like Frank Miller, I think, was untouchable at this point. Like he was a great comic writer in my mind in 2005. Like 300's a couple years away. We're like, Frank Miller's white hot. And then Jim Lee is a great artist. So this is going to be like a slam dunk. It's going to be Ultimate Batman with a great writer and a great artist. Of course this is going to be great. That's where we are in July 2005. Or at least I am.
And Nick, because we need to get more of a sense of where you're coming from, is that what attracted you to this book? Or were you like you're just a Batman fan and you wanted to read some Batman? Or what made you want to pick this up?
Well, I was a Batman fan, but one of the main reasons why I picked up this comic was because, and Vince, you may not remember this, but you cornered me in a bar to tell me how bad this comic was.
Oh, really? I don't.
You did.
I don't.
I think we were at Bays.
I never cornered anyone in a bar, for the record.
Maybe not literally cornered me in a bar, but like you were discussing it with me at a bar at Bays, I think. Okay. And I remember you had that certain Vince passion telling me how and why this comic was so bad, and I was intrigued.
So I bought the whole damn thing. Of an opinion about it. That's incredible. Oh, also, Batman Begins had come out like June 2005, so this is like a month earlier as Batman Begins, which was owed a lot to Batman Year One by Frank Miller.
Yeah.
So
I read my physical copies of these issues, and it is peppered with Batman Begins ads for various things. Definitely I think there's like a Batman Begins Got Milk ad in like the first issue.
Yes. I remember that one now.
Oh, there it is. Yep, I see it now. And I think in the later issues, because this comic took so damn long to come out, you start seeing 300 shit in it too. Like there are ads for 300 as you go on. So despite it being, I guess, generally ridiculed by issue 6, like it was still, I think Frank Miller was still red hot, and I don't know if it was selling well, but I don't know. They were still pushing the Frank Miller vibe there. So
yeah. Well, I think let's just jump straight into the story here. Go ahead, Chris.
And the other part of it is Jim Lee's art. Jim Lee, of course, he got really huge doing the X-Men, and then quit to be one of the founders of Image. So like he didn't do mainstream Marvel or DC stuff for a while, but then whenever basically Image, or he and a couple of the other Image people sold their shares to DC, and he ended up being like high up in DC. And so he did, I think, Hush before this.
Yes, that's definitely before this.
Yeah, and then so like a year later, this is like his return to Batman. So this is Jim Lee. He's going to draw all your favorite characters that he at this point hadn't had a Justice League completely forgettable New 52 run. We hadn't kind of gotten tired of his bad redesigns. But this was like, oh wow, Jim Lee's going to draw Batman and all Batman villains and their origins is like a Tim Sale type thing. So that was, I think, the other half of why people wanted to see this.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I think his art looks great for what he's going for. I think it matches what he's trying to do. We'll talk more about the art.
I think it aesthetically looks good, but yeah, we'll get into it.
Right.
It's not very good storytelling.
No. So we open with Dick Grayson. This book does seem to be pretty focused on the relationship between Batman and Robin, and him taking him on his board.
Until
I mean, the Batman. We'll just keep going. I don't know. Dick Grayson is happy at the circus, and his family loves him, and they're always going to be looking out for him, and everything is great.
And I forget Kia. Yeah. How old is Dick Grayson? I don't think they mentioned it. Okay.
Literally every time he shows up, this 12-year-old brat, and that's what they refer to him as. I think they said 12-year-old brat more than they said Dick Grayson. I think.
Well, it's every time Dick Grayson, age 12, aerialist. every time he's introduced.
Yeah, Vicky Vale's narration says it like that. It's like, why are you talking like this?
Yeah. And so we cut immediately to Vicky Vale, who I think we definitely see more of Vicky Vale than Bruce Wayne in this series. She is hanging out in her lingerie, sipping a martini, as you do,
First line is talking about, they call him the Man of Steel. Is that because he's got a rock hard dick? And I'm like, oh, okay.
All that stuff.
Well, that's our tone here. All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's the tone. It's very cheesecakey. It's and that kind of continues throughout the series a little bit, but it's probably at its worst here, like right off the bat. Just like, hey, here's a random woman in lingerie for no reason.
Oh yeah, it's embarrassing. And I read the like script notes, like a deluxe issue of this previously.
Oh no!
I remember reading Frank Miller's like notes for this page, and he's just like whatever, Jim, like I'm a pervert, just give me this shot of her butt. It's just like, why?
Wow. Yeah, no, the quote is, wow. I have it right here. It goes, okay, Jim, I'm shameless, let's go for the ass shot. Ass shot is in all caps.
Yeah. Oh boy, there's a lot of stuff in all caps throughout this. Okay.
That's what Frank Miller demanded, and yeah, so we get to see her butt, and we also get to see that she has a thigh gap. This is very important for a journalist.
Yeah, gotta have a thigh gap.
It's ridiculous. It's also supposed to be like a Sex and the City thing, where she's like, it's like Vicky Vale, gadfly. I'm like, I don't think that's ever been true of Vicky Vale. She's always like a Lois Lane like journalist.
But now she's like, her, right?
Not in the All-Star universe, baby.
Yeah, she's Kim Basinger in the first movie, and she's always like a Lois Lane, like, getting into trouble journalist. Sometimes she's a TV journalist in the cartoon, but she's always like, she's not the society page. This is a Sex and the City parody. Like, I don't understand why.
Well, she's also dictating her column like into a Bluetooth headset. To whom? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know who she's talking to, but she does talk about how hot Superman is. She does talk about how Batman is not hot. He's a flying rat, and it's disgusting, and she is not into it at all.
Yeah, at least Gotham City has the handsome socialite Bruce Wayne to counterbalance Batman's disgustingness.
And she gets like her doorbell rings, I guess. Alfred is downstairs saying, hey, do you want to go on a date with Bruce Wayne tonight? Which is like a weird way to do that. I think you could call ahead. But
I feel like this is how celebrities do it, though.
Yeah.
Reading Rob Lowe's like biography, they just like saw hot chicks on the phone and then just like called up their agent. Or they saw him on TV. Hey. Like, can I hook up with her? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah, well, and Rob Lowe should really confirm their ages first.
Oh, that's another story. Yeah, he glossed over that part in his book. He said, I made some poor decisions and then just moved right past it. As opposed to lingered on the age of these people, like this book does.
Yeah.
That's a lot of lingering.
We said it like 17 times. Like, wait, age what now?
We get some more lingering shots of Vicky Vale's butt while she's getting changed, and she's getting ready for this date because it's like, drop everything. Bruce Wayne wants to go on a date with me. Let's do it. And
this is a 2-page splash of Vicky Vale looking for clothes.
Yeah, there's a lot. We're halfway through this issue almost. I don't know if we've mentioned that we're moving very slowly, lingering on a lot of these shows.
I know Steve Ditko is alive, but he must be rolling in his grave. He's like, this could be part of one panel in a 9-panel grid.
Uncle Ben is dead, and Spider-Man's already figured out that it was the guy he let go by this point.
Yeah. So Alfred tells her, hey, we're going to the circus. That's where your date is at. And she's like, what? Oh, well, whatever. It's Bruce Wayne. Hooray. I'm excited. And they're at the show. And I do kind of like this a little bit of like, oh, no, this time Dick Grayson's almost falling. Oh, no. What's going on here? But Bruce is like, nah, this kid's a professional. I've been watching him for a long time now. He's good. He can handle himself. It's like,
I do appreciate that Vicky at least looks at him and goes, so you've had your eye on this kid?
Like, what?
He's like, I appreciate talent. I'm like, this is getting worse and worse.
Yeah, his reply. Yeah. Oh.
And one thing you should keep in mind is that this entire series is just interspersed with, inner monologues to the point where, like, everybody has an inner monologue. So it's introduced with Vicky Vale having her inner monologue, or somebody else, because, like, I don't know who's calling her a gadfly in trouble. But
an omniscient narrator also,
sometimes it's an
like
omniscient narrator,
like noir narrator. I know it's Frank Miller trying to be like, Sin City, darkness of the city,
But it's all over the place to the point where it's almost confusing. Like it's almost like Garfield talking. Like, oh, is somebody talking in real life, or are they thinking it, or because there are thought bubbles, there are the like internal monologue bubbles, and then there are people actually speaking. So it took me a second to realize that Bruce Wayne is literally telling his date at the circus that he's been watching this 12-year-old boy for a while. He's saying this out loud, like the only thing he says out loud in this comic.
It's his first lines in the story. I've been watching this 12-year-old for a long time. It's I already brought it up to Nick, but it's funny. It's there's a good podcast where they point out they like rewatched old episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and whenever Kevin Conroy is like, Harvey, if there's one thing I know, it's how to keep a secret. It's like, nobody knows that you're Batman. Who is this? you just sound like you're actually just gay, and you don't want to.
Yeah, in the closet. Poor people. So the performance goes off without a hitch. No flying Graysons are falling down because of broken ropes or anything like that. And everyone's bowing. And then Dick Grayson's mom and dad get shot in the back of the head. Oh my God. It's not how it was done in the original, but I guess this is the All-Star version. And
it wasn't done in the original because it makes no sense.
0 sense.
Yeah.
And we find the guy who killed him is named, what's his name? Jocko Boy? Is that what he was called?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that a different guy?
I thought it was Tommy Lee Jones in Batman Forever. Or Boss Zuko in Batman Dark Victory.
Yeah, Tony Zuko in Batman animated series.
Yeah, here it's
John
Jocko
Travolta,
Boy
yeah.
Vanzetti.
Danny Zuko.
He is... This guy, I've never heard of Jocko Boy Vanzetti before, though, ever. Have you all heard of him in any of his other stories?
Nope. This is doing a great job of ultimatizing Batman. Although now,
not really. Yeah, it's just a slightly different detail that doesn't matter. So then we've got the police are gonna like take Dick Grayson and like
rape
beat him up in the
guess.
Woods or rape him. I don't know.
They're definitely going to sex traffic Dick Grayson.
They're doing something with him.
It's so strange. And it's like it's because he's like, I saw the shooters officers, and they're like, he just doesn't learn. We're gonna have to murder this child. It's like everyone saw the shooters. That's why you don't shoot people in the middle of a circus show.
And Vicky Vale is like, hey, that kid's in trauma. He needs help, blah, blah, blah. And like the police hits her and is like, yeah, get out of here. Go back to your column or whatever. And so this is where I think, the classic Vicky Vale of actually being like kind of a good like roving reporter type, maybe a little bit too far in that direction compared to everything else we've seen, says, hey, Alfred, I'm taking the wheel. You get in the back seat. I'm gonna drive and we're gonna go catch these cops. Do you have a camera? Yeah, like we're gonna take pictures of whatever these cops are gonna do to Dick Grayson. Okay, cool. And she like knows the spot where they're gonna be. I guess she follows them pretty well. Good driver. And it's bizarre, and they're there, and like they've got Dick Grayson just like sitting on the ground, and they're all like all these 4 cops are just around him with their nightsticks, like they're just gonna like beat this kid to death, I guess. And I think somebody asks, like, why would the shooter shoot the parents, but then leave the cops to do that? I don't know. Do they answer this question? I don't know.
No. I said, why would they shoot the parents in the middle of the show? Like,
I don't know. It's all dumb.
Like, I've never murdered any circus folk, but I have to imagine there's easier times to do it.
Yeah, making it look like an accident was like the...
Don't they normally make it look like an accident in the normal tellings of this?
Yeah, because again, it's so easy. They're literally like trapeze artists.
Well,
yeah. It's just so funny that, it's, the story is always that they're trapeze artists who fell and died during their very dangerous trapeze artist act. But Frank Miller's like, no, I'm going to turn this around. What if they successfully complete their trapeze artist routine and then just get fucking blasted?
I mean, that is a good way to because the book, that the Graysons are going to die. So it like fucks with you in a few ways. I've been watching the Lakers show winning time, and my dad's like, "Oh well, that guy like got super injured and then, like never did something again." And I'm like, and so I'm watching the episode of the Lakers show, and there's like 4 different times where like the guy could get injured. Like it's like baiting me to be like, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? So like he's like, oh, it didn't happen here. Dick Grayson didn't fall here. He didn't do this. Oh, they got shot in the head. That's where I fucked with you. So I kind of get it, but like.
I kind of get it, but you could have made it make sense. You know?
Yeah, the way it happened didn't make any sense. So yeah, then Frank Miller, I guess, references his own work, the Sonics thing that he did in Batman Year One to like just scare away the police. He
does it to cops only.
Yeah, he does
no
it.
Children.
He does it to scare the cops away. Which
they're tearing their flesh. Yes. They're like killing them.
Yeah. They're like, their clothes are getting ripped off by all these bats. Or maybe it's just because the bats there's so many of them and they're flying and no, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's turning each of those cops into a Morbius. It's the Morbius situation now where they're going to have that blood disease. They're going to become vampire cops.
Plasma.
And then so the cliffhanger is Batman kind of coming in to save Robin, picks him up, like literally lifts him up and says, "You've just been drafted into a war." And cool. What a cool dude.
I like throughout that, I guess it's because Batman Begins, like the trailers were out or something, but like Robin's narration is like he's trying to do some kind of Clint Eastwood impression. I don't know what he's doing.
I think that is probably my genuine favorite part of this book, and not in like a it's so bad it's good kind of way, but like Robin describing Bruce Wayne, like Batman's voice and everything, and just like the impression that he's getting of him being a kid who's just watched his parents died and like in this like passenger seat of this car. There's something nice about that. I don't know what it is, and I think that's kind of what these next couple of issues are focused on. Boy, they're in this car for a while together, aren't they?
All of issue 2, they're in the car.
All of issue 2.
No, they're to not jump ahead. Too much. Somehow they're in the car long enough for a missing persons thing to be printed.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's so good.
16 hours earlier, there's a missing persons report about this kid.
Okay.
And they're in the so they're in like for these full 6 issues, they're in the car just driving to the Batcave while it turns into various types of vehicles. But also, Batman grows facial hair in the course of this drive because he's clean shaven. Bruce Wayne is clean shaven at the circus. And by the end of this drive, he's got like a 5-day beard.
That's how masculine he is. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, it works the same for me. So
I mean, it happened in Dark Knight Rises, to be fair. Like, they robbed the stock market in the middle of the day, and by the end of the car chase, it was nighttime.
Oh no!
So it's not without precedent in Batman.
Goof.
Also, they robbed the stock market so hard that he got his house repossessed. His house that's been in his family for the thousands of years.
He probably shouldn't have taken that reverse mortgage out on it.
Tom Selleck stole his house.
It blows my mind. Like, literally, the new Pattinson is the first good Batman movie in 15 years. I can't believe it's been that long, but there you go.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean,
Lego Batman's the only good Batman movie. If you put that in there, then maybe.
I mean, Dark Knight's good.
Yeah, but that's 14 years, I guess. I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, that's the last. I know I'm not going to defend Dark Knight Rises. That one was ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, let's keep going. Nothing happens in issue 2, right? Literally nothing.
It does have. Well, one, Alfred is fucking jacked. We learn.
Alfred is jacked. This is the best Alfred we've ever seen, I think. He stands up to Bruce Wayne. He has muscles, and I guess that's it.
And he holds Vicky Vale when she faints. You're right though. This scene actually is pretty good with Dick and Batman. If you assume that Dick is your hero and Batman is a fucking lunatic.
I don't want to say it's good. I wouldn't say that, but there's good stuff in there for sure. All right, so the captions start with Bruce Wayne being like, "Oh my God, I've kidnapped this 12-year-old boy," and Alfred is bandaging up Vicky, who's remembering the murder. And she keeps saying, "Oh my God, it was brutal.
12 years old.
And Batman kidnapped that boy. Why? And she passes out again. Alfred looks like a hero returning home from war right here.
Yeah, he's taken off his shirt to like wrap it around her arms and just try to stop the bleeding.
That's right. How did she get injured? Just like the bats with the car?
Yeah, they I guess crashed their car because of the bats. I don't know.
Sure, something like that. Dick is now in the car with Batman. He's not passing out. Batman was trying to like give him some gas so he could like go to sleep, but he's tough. Batman's like, "What's this kid made of?" And
what's his line? He says something like, "Sleep well, my ward."
Yeah. He goes, "What the hell is a ward?" And Batman is like, "Shut up! I'll do the talking."
Like, I mean, you couldn't write better comedy than that. It's beyond parody. Like he has to be trying to be funny.
There really definitely are times in this book.
He's trying to fuck with the kid. He does say he's trying to fuck with him to like get some like emotion or get him to not dwell on his parents' death or something and like heal, which is again beyond parody. And here's where we come the fantastic line though of "I'm the goddamn Batman," which I didn't remember he called him the R word in the sentence before that, but
yeah,
did not remember that part.
I didn't remember it either, even though I remember it being such a. I think I like put this comic down at this point. I was like, I'm good. Thanks. Back then, I of course kept doing my due diligence for the show for science. Keep reading. But yeah, he says, "What are you, dense? Who the hell do you think I am? I'm the goddamn Batman." And they repeat that line about the goddamn Batman pretty often.
It actually works later when like Gordon's talking about, and then this goddamn Batman, and I'm like, I understand that. You're like, fucking Vince is crazy. Like, and Batman's like, I'm the goddamn Batman. I'm fucking crazy. Yeah. What everybody says about
Can I tell you? I think this book would have been received 1,000,000 times better if the title had just been The Goddamn Batman. I think it would have set everybody up for like, this is what we're getting. This is what we're doing here. The name of this book is The Goddamn Batman in the Goddamn Universe. And we're gonna start a whole new line of goddamn comics, and that's funny.
It's funny too because like you mentioning that about Gordon, Vince, just reminds me like you could literally adapt this into like 2 or 3 episodes. Well, maybe not that many, but an episode or 2 of the Harley Quinn show, and like it would match the tone. Like the like Batman being like so super serious to a fault and like beyond parody, and like Gordon just being like at the end of his rope, like all of it, it fits those characters where you just be like, yeah, okay, that
Where's
makes
my
sense.
goddamn electric car, Bruce?
That was the Joker.
That was my favorite line delivery of that year.
So the cops chase them for a little while. They turn the Batmobile into the Batmoplane and fly away. And Bruce is like, "Geez, what am I doing to this kid? This seems like kind of a bad idea, baby. His parents just died. Oh, well, let's keep going."
Good thing he grows from this after this issue. It doesn't stay in the exact same place.
Yeah. There's a lot of recapping. It's important that we not forget what we just saw in the last issue.
Yeah. It's been, it's been months by this point, I'm sure.
Only 2 months at this point.
Okay, only 2 months. They have a conversation about fighting crime, and he's like, "Yeah, you got a problem with fighting crime?" Like, I don't know. So I guess they're gonna fight crime together. Yeah.
Which is the most insane way. Again, it's like just literal parody, where he's just like, "I'm a crime fighter." Like, isn't that the police's job? It's like, not in this town. The police are bad. That's why Batman has to fight the police.
He does have to hashtag. He does have to hashtag not all cops to be like, there's only one who's good.
And he does say like, yeah, this is Gotham, where they're all like the worst of the worst. Don't ever talk to any cop in Gotham. They're all shit. All that stuff. I think we can just jump into issue 3 though. There's not a lot that happened.
Yeah, let's go to issue 3 because this is a great issue.
Oh my God.
So this starts 6 months ago with the Black Canary, who the name of the bar is the Black Canary that she works at, and she wears like the Black Canary costume, and she's a bartender there. And
it appears to be like a Coyote Ugly situation where they make the bartenders dress like the Black Canary.
But it is like the scummiest bar that you can imagine, filled with the scummiest people. And I will for the first 2/3 of this book, is all about the Black Canary.
It
period.
takes 12 pages for either Batman or Robin to be mentioned in this book about Batman and Robin.
Oh man. Really it's just that they're all kind of hitting on her and she's had enough and some guy touches her butt and she starts beating them up. And then she starts going through all their wallets and she takes their money and her boss is like, hey, sweetheart, or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
no, I was gonna say we have to use the words that this book uses, which I don't think. I mean, I know men are gross and say lots of bad things to women, but this book has the term "love chunks."
Sweet chunks. Sweet chunks.
It's used repeatedly.
Yeah,
it also has a
Sweet
great...
Chunks is there too, but Love Chunks is over and over again. I'm like, who has ever said this? This is an insane thing to say.
Chunks.
It does make me wish I was single again, though, because it has a great pickup line. Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see. And I'm like, I could have used that and probably got no dates.
It's probably for the best that you didn't, I think.
Well, at least it was that one and not, hey, Sweet Chunks. At least that's the one.
My bar life, I was too busy cornering Nick Noble to talk about comic books.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my bar life.
Your pickup line is, I have this horrible comic I need you to read. It's called All-Star Batman and Robin.
I want you to do a podcast with me in 20 years. Let's do it.
Hey, it paid off. You're playing the long game, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me about half, I can't remember how long, because they kept mentioning like, hey baby, I'm like 1/8 Irish or something. It took me a while to figure out that she's supposed to be Irish in this.
Yeah.
She doesn't look Irish. I've never seen an Irish person who's ever looked like this. I mean, I guess nobody looks like a Jim Lee drawing. But she doesn't even really talk Irish. She doesn't use like Irish lingo or anything like that.
In issue 6, he remembers to give her like a brogue. But yeah, in this issue, she's just like, whatever, I'm robbing these people now.
Yeah.
And this goes on for so long because it's literally just like 8 pages of guys catcalling her. And the way that I guess Frank Miller and Jim Lee build up the tension is they literally have a frame that is just a stick of dynamite where the fuse is getting shorter and shorter before she just starts like kicking them in the face and like busting their teeth out.
I mean, you could do that with her facial expression, but whatever.
Nope, stick of dynamite. Stick of dynamite.
This is literally, this could be like a Lost Sin City like a story.
Yeah.
Like this is, I mean, except for the part where there's no like down on his luck, like a tough guy. I guess that would be the second half of the story.
This is aping a lot of Sin City, like all the narration, all the like thoughts on how like women talk and dames talk, and it's just a cesspool. It's very Sin City, but.
But Sin City walks a fine line of like not quite being parody. Like, so it is over the top, but it's not like funny. Like, at least not the first few, like A Dame to Kill For and what's her name, the Jessica Alba one with Bruce Willis. Like those aren't that Yellow Bastard, I think. Like those aren't funny. They're just like very crazy over the top noir stories.
But at this point, I'm realizing this is not Ultimate Batman.
No, definitely not.
This is not like me learning about Batman in a continuity-free world. This is throwing a character that I have no idea who the fuck they are. I mean, she has some relation to Batman, but not big enough to take up half an issue and 3 issues into this series. Like that would not happen in Ultimate Spider-Man. They wouldn't throw like Jean Grey for half an issue in Ultimate Spider-Man issue 3.
Yeah, she's not even like, I mean, she was in the Justice League with Batman, but like the closest she is to being a Bat character is when she's in Birds of Prey.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's not a Batman like affiliated character. She's in a relationship with Green Arrow in the Justice League, like off and on for like forever. But yeah, it's an insane decision, completely insane. But then it leads to, as if that wasn't enough. So you're like, where's Batman? And then do we go to Batman? No, we go to Metropolis. The day before.
Oh my god.
We do get 3 pages of a little bit of Batman here. For very briefly, where first they're in the sky and then the Batmobile turns into Aqua mode and goes down under the water. We get 3 pages that
Still in the Batmobile.
Still in the Batmobile.
Issue 3.
Although, I'm also realizing the Black Canary stuff was 6 months ago, and this scene ends with like her taking some guy's motorcycle and driving away. And the next time we see her, she's on the motorcycle. Has she just been on the motorcycle for 6 months?
Yeah,
she's been robbing people on a motorcycle for the last 5.5 months, I guess. I don't know.
Got it. Okay, great. Just realized that. So yes, after we get the nothing scene, go ahead.
Yeah, let's cut to Metropolis, where
a
mystery man is looking at his drinking milk from the carton, and there's a missing poster for Dick Grayson, because this is 2000 and what? We said 2005.
Yes.
We all know missing person milk cartons were omnipresent in 2005. It was still a thing.
To the point where as soon as the person goes missing, as soon as the child goes missing, they slap that onto a carton of milk, and apparently Clark Kent got new milk this very day.
The milkman happens. The milkman still exists in this world, and they deliver fresh milk every day.
Yeah.
Okay, clearly what's happening, though, is y'all are too stupid to see the big picture here, which is that this is Big Milk who got his parents murdered, and this is part of their plan.
No.
They knew he was going to go missing, and they prepped these milk cartons.
Nick, the clues were in issue 1 when Batman had a milk mustache.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm so confused about the timeline here, because this comic starts 6 months ago, and then this Metropolis scene takes place 15 hours ago. 15 hours ago from what? From them being in the Batmobile? So
they've been in the
Batmobile for at least 15 hours.
No, so
for them to instantly put his face on a carton.
Well, unless, and this isn't followed up on, Big Milk killed Robin's parents and already had everything printed and ready to go and out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like they knew Batman was going to kidnap this kid, or they thought the cops were going to kidnap him and murder him. I guess.
Batman's like, what are you, stupid? I'm taking you to Disney World. It's a 16-hour drive.
No, the paper even says Batnapped. So when did this happen?
Yes, it doesn't make the time that
doesn't
caption
make any sense at all. It is
but he works at that paper.
Why is he surprised?
Wouldn't he know?
First, he destroys his milk, which is like a very un-Superman thing to do. And then he looks in the paper, his own paper, sees the front page story, which is Vigilante 2 towns over kidnaps 12-year-old. That's front page news in Metropolis, I guess.
With no pictures.
It's a really big story on the front page as well, but it's clearly even bigger because he's continuing it into the middle of the newspaper.
Lois wrote it.
Yeah, like,
what
is Lois
article.
working on? Lois is like, I'm investigating a real important thing, but I can't talk about it today. So just run whatever.
And he lasers the newspaper, and like to the point where it breaks his own glasses, and he's just like he's the goddamn Superman in this universe. He's a fucking pissed Superman. Maybe he doesn't work at the Daily Planet in this universe.
Somebody asked Morrison, like, is the All-Star universe like tied together? Like, does All-Star Superman take place here? He was like, I mean, maybe All-Star Superman's him at the end of his life. Maybe this takes place earlier. I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, don't worry about it too much. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically issue 4, right? Is there anything else that happens?
Or issue 3?
Issue 3.
It does have like
there was a really
worst
awful variant. Is that what you were going to mention?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Frank Miller drew all the variant covers for this book, and they're all like, good thing you didn't draw this, man. You shouldn't have drawn Dark Knight Strikes again.
I was going to say, you were excited to read this book. You clearly didn't read the book that he had just recently done with his own art, where I was like, ugh, what is this?
I do remember looking at that in a comic book store, and I was like, because I remember Dark Knight Returns was a big deal, which I hadn't read at that point. Because it was all, like, everybody loved, like, these things, and Dark Knight Returns was supposed to be good, but I hadn't gotten around to it yet. And then I saw Dark Knight Strikes Again to come out, 02, 03, and I looked, I'm like, what the fuck is this scrabby art? Like, I used to talk shit about, like, Bill Sienkiewicz, like, when I was, like, dumb and 8 years old. But at least that was, like, good art, scratchy. That was not. Dark Knight Strikes Again was terrible.
I think you can definitively say, I mean, Frank Miller's art got worse. Like, way worse over time. He clearly got a lot lazier.
I don't remember who did Dark Knight 3, The Master Race with him, which is a terrible subtitle.
He still did some covers or alternate covers for those, didn't he?
I don't know. And I think he may have drawn Holy Terror, which was supposed to be Holy Terror Batman, where Batman beat up Osama bin Laden.
Oh,
but they
DC wouldn't let him do that.
Oh boy!
And it would have been part of Goddamn Batman and Holy Terror Batman. I feel like that would have been a good 1-2 punch, Kia.
It fit well, yeah. All right, so Aspar number 4. We have Vicky Vale's in the hospital. They're kind of starting to lose her. We have Batman and Robin still heading home. But they do get home, at least this time. It takes, still a few more panels. A really nice, big splash panel. Was this like a quadruple-sized splash panel of them getting to the
Yes, it was.
How did they do that in the printed version?
It's folded.
Folded? Okay.
Interesting. So they had to pay extra for this. Okay.
They definitely did.
This is also 5 months after. The last issue came out in December 2005, and this one is now May 2006.
Actually, this is a 6-page splash panel. I'm looking at it right now.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. It looks really good.
Pages. It does. It's stunning. I'm sure Jim Lee spent like 8 months on this.
Yeah, it's a fucking awesome big portrait. And yeah, they're in the cave, and Dick's a little bit like, "Whoa, what's all this? Cool. It's cold," and he's like, he's thinking to himself, like, it's probably cold in here on purpose, because this guy would definitely be able to install heat if he wanted to. So I guess he just doesn't want to, and kind of checks out with everything I know about this guy.
You try heating a cave, Kia. It's impossible.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably
he's got space heaters in the bottom. He just took them out because he wants Dick to eat rats.
Yeah. He really wanted him to eat rats, this poor boy. Oh,
he did. Also, it's 2005 digital art alert. After this huge splash panel, it's the first time I've noticed it. There's some of our classic, we talked about it in Alias and a few others from around this time, where they just start digitally reusing panels where you're just like, oh, okay, you're just not going to draw this again? Fine.
Nope. Oh yeah, Dick looking on in wonder as the color, like the lights that are on his face change. Yeah, that's a nice copy paste there. And he's like, he kind of likes this cave a little bit, but just because of how big and cool it is. But then he asks for new clothes, and Batman's like, sure, I'll get you something soon. Oh, Alfred calls Batman as well here, and he's like, hey, Vicky's almost dead. And Bruce says, hey, call this guy in Paris who can do anything. And Alfred's like, yeah, he's not going to make it here in time. He says, okay, then I need you to call this nerd at the Daily Planet. Oh, he does work at the Daily Planet. I need you to call this nerd Clark Kent. Say it's a favor for Batman to get this guy over here as fast as we can. And when Batman hangs up the phone, he's like, he got the biggest shit-eating grin on his face. Like, I fucking know who Superman is. I know it's Clark Kent. And this is my way of letting him know. It's pretty weird.
What's even weirder? Insane. What's even weirder is that Superman runs across the ocean.
Yes, and runs back with like the damn car over the car.
He doesn't even take the guy out of the car.
Oh man.
Well, he would break if he broke the sound barrier. The guy would like liquefy in his arms. He has to.
Yeah.
He has to keep him in a something that can travel across the ocean. It's so stupid.
This is like when he gave up for Lent. He's like, okay, I'm not going to fly for Lent. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Hey, that was a whole 1-year arc that was supposed to happen, but I think they pulled the plug on it because it was too stupid.
The Straczynski arc, yeah. They fired him from Wonder Woman and Batman, and Wonder Woman and Superman around this time.
Yep. Wow. What? Just because he had stupid ideas and didn't turn stuff in on time? Huh? What, you can get fired for that? Tell Frank Miller.
So Batman is like, all right, I'm leaving. Oh yeah, Dick asks for new clothes. Yeah. Batman leaves, and Dick is like, well, what am I gonna do? It's like, yeah, it's a big cave. Just find anywhere. Just like go to sleep, find something to eat. And Dick goes to sleep thinking Batman is a creep. I hate his guts.
Yeah, he's like,
that's kind of how I'm.
No, wait. You did skip the creepiest panel by panel on a digital phone. When you're reading this, he's like, sorry, kid. Sure. He's like that. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? And then Batman just cuts the narration. I touched my mother's breast. I'm like, wait, what? And that's all it said on the panel. And I'm like, this is too big on my phone. What is going on here, Batman? You could say other words. And he goes, she bled on me. And I'm like, you don't have to talk about breasts. Like, it sounds a little puritanical, but like, choose any other word, Frank Miller. Like, you know what you're doing here. Like, is Frank Miller like, yeah, I want to think about blood coming out of a titty. Like, what are you thinking, Frank Miller? Just pick another word. It's fucking gross.
Why are you using the little panel smart? I guess if you're just reading it on a phone.
Yeah,
still.
exactly. There's a lot of words sometimes on these pages.
Yeah, put it in landscape mode. Come on, what are you doing? Turn your phone sideways.
Frank Miller should have known that I was going to read it this way in 2022.
To be fair, it's just as stupid in the regular comic.
Yeah.
I just love how he's like 4 panels after Superman running across the ocean, and he's like, I gotta spice this up. Touch my mom's titty.
Yeah.
That'll get you fuckers hot and bothered, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, don't think that we didn't see a bunch of cleavage from Vicky Vale as she's dying, or Batman.
A lot of bloody breasts right now.
Yeah. Batman runs, I guess, around like beating people up to figure out what's going on with like the murder of the Graysons, and like one of the goons he's assaulting like just has, I guess, a maul or whatever. Just in her like negligee, sexily on the bed, watching him beat up the guy. I'm just like, what is it? Why is this happening? Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah. You gotta have a lingerie woman in the background of as many shots as you possibly can. That's just how the Frank Miller book goes. So Dick Grayson wakes up.
Jim Lee imagines a world where all women look like that, or they're cartoonishly fat. Like there's a lady at the hospital that's cartoonishly fat. There's no like no in between.
No in between. Maybe I think Jim Gordon's wife kind of looks fairly regular. I don't know.
I feel like there were some notes that
she does look alcoholic. Yeah,
the Jim Gordon issue, I feel like there were some notes. Like I feel like the Jim Gordon issue was like moderately okay, but we're 2 issues away from that.
Okay, so
Jim
Jim's
on the phone with his wife. When did we see his wife?
She walks by while he's on the phone.
What?
It's with the whole.
Because he's with his girlfriend. He's talking to his girlfriend. That's right.
Oh, he's talking to his girlfriend.
Oh, is that who he's talking to? I thought he was talking to somebody at work.
No, Barbara.
Right, we'll get there.
It's both. Barbara says, "Yeah, we'll get there." Barbara says, she goes like, he's talking with the love of his life while my mom's in the other room. She says that.
I see. All right. So Dick Grayson is maybe the love of his life is the job, though. Never thought of that, did you? So Dick Grayson is he wakes up. He's got new clothes. It's like oversized PJs. There's a nice cheeseburger plate waiting for him that Alfred clearly made for him. Well, Batman is instantly like holding up Alfred, going, "What the hell are you doing giving this boy a cheeseburger? This is not okay." And Alfred's like,
you don't know that he made it. Maybe he got it from Burger King like a half hour ago and drove it all the way.
Likely. You're right. Put it on a nice little tray. And Batman is so mad at this, and Alfred's like, "Yeah, I'm your butler. I'm not your slave. Get your hands off me." And I do like the bits about like you just because you fucking chose to live in this cave and eat rats doesn't mean this kid has to. I'm like, damn, did Batman really do this shit? And he just walks away, and his narration is just like, what does it say? Alfred just told me to go take a flying leap. This little brat is going to ruin everything. Man. Batman's a real jerk. He's a real creep. I hate him. Are we on to issue 5 now?
Yes. I want to have a trivia question right here. How long is the difference in publication between issues 4 and 5? Issue 4 came out on May 17th, 2006. For the record. When is the next issue?
I'm going to guess 14 months because that seems egregious.
Exactly 364 days, 52 weeks. Exactly 52 weeks. It came out May 16th the following year. So.
Wow.
52 weeks. They're like,
working that Santa Claus schedule.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is what we get. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Wonder Woman
now
calling somebody
get
a sperm bank in her first line.
Wonder Woman. Yeah, Wonder Woman calling somebody a sperm bank. Wonder Woman hates men. She is walking through Metropolis talking about how it's the city of dreams for men, but the men have ruined everything and they all suck. And she is meeting the rest of... Okay, they're not the Justice League yet, but she's meeting Superman and Green Lantern and Plastic Man. And she's like, yeah, we got to meet. We got to figure out what the hell's going on with this Batman guy because he is like making an embarrassment out of superheroes. We got to kill him. We got to get these men to stand up and like, take care of shit.
I want to linger on this first page a little bit, because you just said that there was a year difference between these two issues, and I want you to imagine going back in time, waiting a year to get the next issue. You open it up and it's literally Wonder Woman with a cursive voice, internal monologue, and then calling a guy a sperm bank. You imagine just being like, gotta find out what happens with this Batman comic, and you open it up and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
and it says 5 hours ago, like 5 hours before. What?
Why does that matter? Why does that matter?
5 hours ago from the 15 hours ago that Superman was smashing the milk, or 5 hours ago from...
Superman has clearly cooled down because he does not seem to want to beat up Batman at all in this issue.
No, yeah, he's so none of them really want to at all, actually. Green Lantern is like, we shouldn't just kind of instantly judge it. We don't actually know what's going on there. We got to figure things out. Maybe we should take a vote. And Plastic Man's like, I think we should just bring him into the group. He seems pretty cool. And Wonder Woman gets even more pissed about all this, and it's just talking shit about all the guys, talking shit about Superman. I guess everyone knows he's Clark Kent because Plastic Man calls him Kent here. So there's no secret identity.
He's not Superman's bodyguard in this world.
Okay.
We know they're not keeping that up.
There is a nice little bit where she's just throwing her coat off onto the ground, and she says, Green Lantern, take my coat. And so he makes a green coat hanger for her to hold it. I like that, especially because she leaves it off for a few panels, and then says, all right, I'm taking my coat back. Just needed a chance to, take some clothes off.
Yeah. What exactly does Superman do here? He shakes the earth.
It's like he does a stomp of some sort that it's not very well told with the panel at all, but she apparently is you bastard. And I'm out of here. I hate your guts.
Yeah, that's again, I Jim Lee's storytelling, panel to panel. I'm like, what happened? Because she's got battle damage on her. I'm like, you literally have not touched each other. Why do you look like somebody punched you in the face? It's very. Maybe it's a rewrite. I don't know. Maybe somebody at DC was like, Superman can't slap Wonder Woman in the face.
They're not allowed to do that. Yeah.
There was a year of going back and forth before they're like, no, we publish it, but that's got to be going. There's 3 months of meetings at work.
That makes a lot of sense to me, to be honest.
I can see that now that you say that. There's absolutely
her plan is I want to behead Batman. I want to show the world that we police our own, and that when we rule this world, we can be trusted. Superman's like, no, this is my world. These are my rules. You will not do this. So she gets pissed. She leaves, but they embrace and kiss for a little bit first.
Ladies be, man. Dating. There's no hot, but they still love you. They still love you.
This is some Frank Miller feminism where it's I'm an independent woman who loves it when a man is terrible to me.
God damn it.
I thought I skipped a page when this happened, because it's her going, you make me sick, and then spitting blood out, and then I turn the page and I'm like, wait, they're smooching? I was like, did I miss something here?
Yeah, like I said, it does go with my reading of they edited out a slap, because then it sort of makes sense. It's still bad, very bad. Yeah. But then I would at least understand what he's writing. This is just incomprehensible gibberish.
There's also, now we get an omniscient narrator who says, in time, these people will soon be the Justice League of America. But for now, not yet. We're not there yet. What?
How many hours until that happens?
So we cut to Batman, who was laughing maniacally. That was the first half of the issue, by the way. Batman is laughing maniacally. He is loving being out on the town. He finds some rapists to catch, and so he loves it. He's ha 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 ha, and he says he does that on purpose to scare them because he loves his evil laugh.
Yeah, Batman known for his laughter. One thing we know about Batman:
the man who laughs. Isn't that about him? And he beats up some rapists. The woman he's saving here, is that Catwoman?
I don't think so. She's clearly into it. She's like, ooh, boy.
Like, I like violence. I'm going to help beat up these people. I've got Batman watching after me now. But we never meet her again or learn her name.
Yeah. I think she teams up later with the Joker, I think, in some of the later issues. So we would know if we read issue 8 or something.
I guess the Joker shows up.
I don't know.
That's when because the where I stopped reading was where Joker, the cover has Joker with like a Kazuma Kiryu full back tattoo, like a dragon tattoo on his back.
Yeah. I think if it were her, then there would have been a little like bubble saying like Selena Kyle, age 26.
No, age 17. Thank you.
No. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah. So yeah, she stomps on a man's groin. She's excited that Batman. She's like, "I love you, Batman," and he's like, "Nobody loves anybody. I gotta go."
So then we get Alfred is like working out at home, and he's like I said, he's kind of a badass. He's jacked. He's remembering.
He's so jacked.
And he is having a memory of the time that the Waynes were murdered, and Martha Wayne's last look was into her son's eyes, seeing him become a heartless demon. Which, as corny as all that is, sure. A, B. How are you remembering this memory, Alfred?
Yeah, you weren't in the alley with them, were you? Like, what's going on?
And he's angry about it too. He's angry about this thing that he made up in his head.
He's clutching his punching bag close. He's just like, oh my God, this vision I just had of a young Bruce Wayne being turned to the dark side. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and he's scared his master has gone mad, and all this stuff about it. And now he's got a new protege and all that kind of stuff. So whatever. Then we get Dick Grayson. He's like, wow, this is a big cave. I'm looking around. My first time in this cave. Whoa, look, it's the sharp knives section. I'm gonna hold this axe. Whoa, cool axe.
And Alfred clearly just put his pajamas over his singlet, which is probably good.
Yeah,
which is probably good.
Yeah,
like, he's the one person respectable. Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's the one respectable child.
What a nothing scene though. What a just like we need a scene to end this on. Hey, how about this kid holding an axe? Cool, yeah. Cool.
Robin known for his axe wielding.
Yeah.
Okay. Does the axe ever come back, Nick?
No.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a year between issues. You can forget what happens here.
I think this is we're not that far back. The publishing of this is only July 2007. So only 2 months. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I guess it must have been that slap scene that we're assuming that really took a lot of time to figure out here. So yeah, issue 6, the last one we're reading for now. There's 4 more issues of this crap if you want to read it. Maybe we'll ask Nick to tell us what happens in the rest of it since he's read it all the way through.
I haven't refreshed my memory. I did not read the rest of them because I was afraid that it would bleed into this, and I'm like, I'm not going to talk about issue 9.
That's probably
we may bring Nick back next April to finish it out.
To finish the job. Oh shit.
Yeah, I remember there's a scene where Joker's like henchwoman, instead of being Harley Quinn, is like a Nazi with like tassel, like swastika over her nipples.
I swear he used that in the Spirit. Did he not use that in the Spirit?
He was probably making the Spirit around this time.
It's probably like what Stan Lee used to do when he was, first creating all the Marvel stuff. He's like, hey, I came up with a magnet villain. Let's put a magnet villain in every story here.
Yeah, issue 8 also has the Joker on the cover holding Batman's cowl and like wiping blood off of his fist with the cowl. And none of that shit ever happens in the comic.
No, of course not.
So what do we have in this issue here? Issue 6.
Well, we don't. There's not enough characters in this story, Kia. We need to introduce a few more.
Okay. Well, we get a few quick splash pages to remind us of the most important characters. We have Batman, and then we have Black Canary, and then we have the new characters. Which 3 hours ago. Okay.
Against what? We have
ago.
3 hours ago from the Wonder Woman meeting, or.
Just ago.
From the axe finding, I guess.
Yeah, from the stomping on groins that Batman and that were doing. You have suffered a severe shock, ma'am.
And Barbara, that's a pretty good. It was very similar to that, yeah. Barbara Gordon gets home and she gives her dad a hug, and he's like, "Hey, that backpack looks pretty heavy. What you got in there?" And she's like, "Hey, I've got a part-time job now. I'm buying myself some clothes and whatever." So she heads to her language to study. I'm reading. What is it? Watch your language, he says. She heads to her room to study, while he's on the phone with his girlfriend. We're assuming.
Yeah, because he was hooking up with like
line.
his partner in Batman Year One, like Sarah or something. This book ostensibly, is supposed to be a continuity-free Batman, but like really relies on your knowledge of other Bat books that have come before to help inform what's going on here.
So while he's on the phone, we see the wife here, and she's like walking slowly in the kitchen, pouring herself a drink.
Chris, she still is.
You're right.
Oh, good. Okay.
She's still sexy.
Gotta spice this up with that.
Yeah, she's sad sexy, but she's sexy.
She's in complete shadows except for her breasts, which is the only important part.
Yep. How is that shadow working? I don't know. Yeah. So Barbara Gordon, meanwhile, is in her room. She's unloading her haul in her backpack, and she's got some grappling hooks, and she's got a whole damn outfit where she is Batgirl.
No one's ever gonna recognize her with the tiniest mask in the world and her normal hair.
Yeah. And like she's got posters of Batman, so like cool. But I'm like, wow, we're on issue 6 here. Robin is still not Robin, but we felt the need to introduce Batgirl in full costume and everything already. Like, damn, all right.
I'm okay. Like if we assume that this book like has a plan, which it doesn't, the idea that it's creating all the sidekicks and subheroes in Batman's wake is an interesting story, I guess.
Sure,
could be.
Not what I signed up for, but sure.
It is like world building, but without like the rest of the stuff.
Yeah,
it's just setting up a world that will never exist.
I just realized she's got a bunch of books in her room. She's got Sin City. She's got 300, Gen 13.
Wow. So she's a Jim Lee
Watchmen,
and a Frank Miller fan.
And Watchmen.
Okay,
and
Alan
called
Moore.
365. All right, cool, whatever.
That's her way of saying thank you, Jim Lee, for not drawing me with huge jugs.
And so she's
the Jubilee of the book.
She's the Jubilee of the bunch. And
I know your editors told you not to.
So then we get Jimmy Olsen. How old is he?
16.
16.
Oh my
16-year-old Jimmy Olsen.
This comes into play because this is not creepy at all on the next page.
No.
Oh God, I forget.
In front of a high school. That's insane. It's so insane.
And he is delivering flowers to Vicky Vale because he like just got a message from her about something or other, and he like rushes there with flowers, but like everybody else in the world has brought her flowers already, and so he's just like, this is nothing embarrassing.
Remember, she almost died. What, 2 issues ago, 3 issues ago?
Yeah, but
she's fine.
But that was either 10 hours from now or 4 hours ago.
Something like that. The French doctor in his car saved her. I don't know how that French doctor got back home. I assume Superman walked him back over there again. But there's
Did he get out of his car?
No, he performed surgery in the backseat.
They had to put Vicky in the car.
That is the most form-fitting hospital gown I've ever seen.
You get such a good view of her butt through a hospital gown. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, I gotta go to the hospital more. We got Bruce Wayne has like written her a note. What? Okay. Why is Jimmy Olsen here? I've downloaded everything we've got on the fly. Yeah, she wants info from the Daily Planet.
He still works for Gotham at this point. They said.
What?
Yeah,
for Gotham.
He's the cub reporter for the Gotham
Gazette. There we go. And so he's the best person to call when you need as much information as you can on the murder of the Graysons.
No, they sent their intern. Like, we're not fucking going to the hospital. Send the intern. I don't give a shit. That's what they
She's also, like, I guess recently she's had a message from Bruce Wayne saying to Vicky, my apologies for Alfred's driving. Recover swiftly. The world is a darker place without you. How sweet.
Alfred
Alfred. So she like, we see her long legs getting out of the bed, and she says, "Hey, Jimmy, can you get me these clothes that are in the closet, whatever?" And we get a little scene of her changing with Jimmy, trying not to look, but he kind of wants to look. And
he's 16. We've established this.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't need to say his age. Just don't say it.
You should have just not said it.
Yeah. He could be an adult working at a newspaper. That is perfectly reasonable thing.
Yeah. How dare you?
A young adult. They don't generally have children working at newspapers.
Yeah. Then it's just sort of a hostile work environment where people strip in front of you instead of it being like a child thing. Like, this is bad. Yeah. Vicky, you're going to jail.
Yeah. So we now get Black Canary.
We get 8-page ballpark hot dogs ad sponsored by Mad Magazine called Mad About Hunger. Yes.
Wow.
This must have been 8 pages. It is 8 pages of Mad Magazine comics about ballpark hot dogs.
Wow.
Yeah. How much does the issue cost? What does it say on the front cover? Is this a $3.99 comic?
This is $2.99.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Probably because it's
ballpark.
It's like 6 pages. Plus, I think this was when DC bought Mad Magazine, so they're like, well, we got to use them.
That makes sense.
In our biggest flagship book.
Then we get some Black Canary beating up some dudes, taking their money again. Like she's been doing for the last 6 months, and she gets herself into some trouble because now there's a whole bunch of dudes with guns coming after her. Meanwhile, 5 minutes ago, Batman is he is catching some dudes related to Jocko. Who is this guy that's got like worms coming out of his nose? What's going on with this guy?
Jocko got infected with the bat venom or whatever in issue 1.
Yeah, so, that was from the Batarang that he.
So he's hallucinating the worms and everything because he's still under the effects of the drug. It's very, that's like one of those things.
I see.
Something we read 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And they didn't even focus on it then. Okay, great.
I know, it's such a non-ish thing here. It's just one panel of a guy with worms.
Oh,
and they're just like, yeah, I fed him some nasty snake poison. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I now I'm reading that caption. Like by this point, I was not reading a lot of these captions, to be honest. He punches them, kicks them. It's a nice little generic fight scene. And then he's like, oh, I hear this dame is in trouble. I got to go help her out. And she's like, oh man, it's the goddamn Batman. And that's the scene.
Yep.
And that's the issue. And I'm not reading any more of this. I'm done. I'm done.
She was, I guess, planning to rob some people.
Terrible. This shit sucks. Don't read it. Don't read it. No, it's so bad. It's like one of the worst things. And part of me does think it's like some of it is intentional, but also it can't possibly all be intentional because some of it is just like you printed this.
Yeah, that was the thing I was wondering, and I wanted to pose this question is, do you think Frank Miller is being funny on purpose?
I think sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, no. It's.
I don't. I think this book fucks his legacy though, in such a bad way that if he's fucking with the audience, it's a real bad calculation.
Yeah,
because I don't think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because I loved Frank Miller at this time. I read more interviews with him, and I was like, oh no, okay. But at the time, Frank Miller had done a lot of really good things. And Dark Knight Strikes Again was a misfire. But everything else he did, the Wolverine stuff he did, the Elektra stuff he did, Batman Year One is one of my favorite comics of all time. And this is oh, Frank Miller's not good, and I'm never gonna read anything else from him ever again. This is the point where I'm he's a bad writer, and he has turned a corner. So I don't know if it's a joke. It's it was a miscalculation.
Yeah, I think that this is a good barometer for. I don't think it fucks his legacy because I do think that those early comics are good, but I think it's a good warning sign that you should not read any more Frank Miller ever again. Anything, anything in the 21st century, you probably shouldn't bother.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's trying to be funny in some sense, but it's just like, yeah, it's such a weird thing going on because it's like obviously he turned the dial up so much with Dark Knight Returns. It's just kind of a crazy comic, but it kind of works. And so then he comes back and does Dark Knight Strikes Again, and it's insane. Like he turned the crank up even more. And then they're like, hey, can you come back and do this PG-13, All-Star Batman and Robin reboot? And he's like, well, I got all these great ideas from like Sin City comics that I didn't write. So what if I just try and like ruin it? like what if I just try to make like the worst comic of all time? And I think that puts too much onto Frank Miller, that he's deliberately trying to make a bad comic. I think that he's just being the most Frank Millery. Like I think he probably wrote this whole thing in like he probably was writing like an issue a night, would be my thinking.
It sure feels like it. But like the thing that I keep coming back to is like there's a lot of this, like, I can't tell, when we talk about Frank Miller's legacy, like all of this bullshit here is in his other stuff. It's all over Batman Year One, like the city is a cesspool of crime and sperm banks and bullshit. But there's like an anchor point of goodness in that book that like you can latch onto, that like our hero is in opposition to this. Gordon or Batman is like something, and Dick Grayson isn't a strong enough character for me, because I like the idea of Batman being fucking insane. Like that works for me. But there's nothing to anchor you to say like Batman is not your hero. Like there's nothing in this book that like gives you somebody to care about or go back to. And I think that's what's missing from this book. And I don't know if Frank Miller's not capable of it or he forgot to write that in. But every one of his good books has a good character and a moral compass that may not be there. And it's not here.
Yeah, it's nowhere. Like maybe it was going to be Dick Grayson, but then he doesn't do anything for 4 issues. So,
He literally left him in a cave.
Yeah.
Forgot to make him the moral compass.
Yeah, because it's All-Star Batman and Robin, but Robin has been forgotten for these last 3 issues. And then there's fucking Black Canary and Batgirl, like, take up half their issues.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's so weird.
Robin's not a hot babe, though. Have you thought about that?
I did think that is
not
true.
a hot babe.
Because again, if we're talking,
why didn't he make her a hot babe?
If we're talking All-Star,
he did
Prey,
once.
If we're talking All-Star Birds of Prey, sign me up. That sounds great. I'll read All-Star Birds of Prey. That sounds like a great book.
Again, it's funny, talking about Frank Miller feminism. People thought his Robin was like feminist in Dark Knight Returns, like that. This is like, oh, it's a girl character. She's not like hugely over sexualized. Again, she is underage. Seems to be happening a lot. But it's like at the time, people were like, oh, this is a good, representation where this is a different, kind of character. And yeah, it's like, what happened?
What happened?
It's just so funny.
That's our.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny if you imagine this in like that hero's journey archetype, considering that it's completely unfinished. Because I guess you could view Batman as being the Obi-Wan type character, and then Dick Grayson is like the Luke. But it would be like in Star Wars if you're like, okay, here's Luke's arc. His aunt and uncle are killed. Okay. And then Obi-Wan shows up, kidnaps him, and then they drive in a speeder for like half an hour. And then Obi-Wan throws him in a cave, and then Luke eats a burger. And that's it.
Yeah, well, they arrive at the Death Star, and they say, like, Luke, you stay here. There's no food here. and then Obi-Wan does everything on the Death Star.
Yeah.
And Luke just kind of hangs out on the ship. Like, that's what it would be.
Look, there's a lot of hot Twi'leks that I need to party with, so I'm just gonna leave you here while I investigate.
And then there's just like 20 minutes of IG-88 for no reason. Like that's what that would be consistent with what this book is.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's funny to think, and I've read enough contemporary like critic stuff. People thought like Elektra was feminist, and I guess in a sense it is, compared to like Stan Lee feminism.
It has women with autonomy, which is step one for feminism. But then beyond that, no.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, Elektra is like very hot and also very dangerous. It's like, yeah, that's, I guess, sort of a step in the right direction, but it's not like if you break it down beyond that, like there's just not a lot there. And it's
that kind of Joss Whedon style of feminism where you're like, you know how women are usually shrinking violets? Well, what if one of them hit some guy with a nunchuck? Huh?
But I still can be mean to them.
And
I can personally, yes. Obviously, yes. I hate them, but
yes, yeah. She's very hot. Her friends are also very hot, and they all talk like me. Yeah.
2005 was a time for our misguided idea of feminism. It was a good time.
Yeah. What was that TV show with Eliza Dushku, Dollhouse? That was right. I think just before this.
Oh boy.
Hey, women with completely blank minds, but no. Okay, wait.
Completely, but it's a female led show. Surely this is good.
All right, so I got nothing else to say about this book. It's okay, I'm sure actually, one day.
I want to question
you.
Go ahead. Is this better or worse than Dark Victory?
Worse. Like okay. Dark Victory is a different kind of bad, but it has a plot, and it has it has a plot. Really, that's all you can hope for, right? It has a plot.
Yeah, it's funny, again, as the sort of like as someone who watches bad movies for fun, like this kind of is more fun to read, but I think it's much worse. Like that Dark Victory to me is just like replacement level. Like, yeah, you could just hand this to somebody that hasn't read very many Batman stories and they'd be like, oh, this is good. It's like, well, it's really not. It's kind of like a greatest hits of better stuff. But this is just like completely insane, like that third issue where like it's just Black Canary and Superman. Like I laughed out loud at that issue. I was just like, what is happening?
I think that's where it stopped rough. Being like the top of my pull list. Like, cause I bought the first 2 issues of this book. I'm thinking like, I was so excited. I bought both the covers of it. And I was so excited. It was at the top of my pull list. Like, well, he's just taking time to get going. And then by issue 3, you're like, no, he's not going anywhere with this.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. He just keeps introducing more characters every issue. Like it's
a George R. Martin problem, but
yeah.
But the first few issues weren't good.
If there was no story underlying that, and it's just like, but what if I introduced another, character from my D&D party, and you're like, I don't know who this is either.
I think it's time for us to move on to some Avengers here. We'll maybe come back to this terrible All-Star Batman at some point. I really am not committed. I know they made another just All-Star Batman in the last few years as well. I don't know anything.
Alfred tried to kill Batman for a bounty money.
Of course he did. All right, never mind. I'm not interested.
The author of that is very clear to point out that there is no direct association between All-Star Batman and All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder.
Okay, that's good. That's a good way to do it.
And they said, I think in 2012 there was supposed to be a sequel to this that Miller and Lee were working on, and according to Wikipedia, as of 10 years later, no movement has been made on
that. Yeah. Also, apparently, he did a Superman Year One in the last few years
with John Romita Jr., which I do not want to touch with a 10-foot pole.
Great, we're not touching it. All right, so we're just going to move on now to our long read. We are reading the Avengers. We are reading the Korvac Saga from
the Tyrak Saga, right?
No, this is the Korvac Saga from why do I forget the year? What is this? Early 70s?
Late 70s.
Late 70s. Thank you. And it's taken a while to get going here, but it's okay. We're just kind of reading some Avengers stuff all throughout. Nick read this as well. Thank you, Nick. We start off right off the bat with some different art. We don't have George Perez here, which was also one of the reasons we were reading this, to celebrate a little bit of George Perez. But this is Sal Buscema with breakdowns from Klaus Jensen here, still written by Jim Shooter, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But anyways, Hawkeye's back. But nobody is home because they're all busy dealing with Ultron from the last issue. And so Hawkeye just kind of walks around a little bit, and he's like, geez, maybe they're all dead.
He leaves the door open, though. This whole issue would be different if he just closed the door behind him. If he knew there was a dog in the house and closed the door behind him, he would be fine.
Henry Gyrich. Why wouldn't you close this door? Just walk around leaving it open? But yeah, Henry Gyrich.
He's a carnival folk, just like Dick Grayson. He doesn't know doors.
Doesn't know doors. Henry Gyrich shows up and he is like sees this open door and he is pissed. I don't know how much you know about this guy, Nick, but he has been on the Avengers case about leaving their secrets out in the open where anyone can just waltz in and take them. They had a big hole in Avengers Mansion. Yeah, he's not been happy about all this.
This is good writing that you pick up on things.
It is.
Even though you didn't read the previous 5 issues. That's good writing. Then
I haven't read the previous 171 issues, but yeah, there's some things you can grab onto here.
Right.
Like this guy doesn't like the Avengers.
Yeah. So meanwhile, the Avengers, the rest of them are up dealing with. They were dealing with Ultron and Jocasta, Ultron's robot wife. And Ultron has been defeated and everything, but now in defeat, Captain America and Jocasta have blinked away. Well, what's going on here? Then a nun shows up and says, hey, thanks y'all for getting Ultron out of our convent here. But y'all got to go. Like, seriously, this is where we pray, and that's not okay. So we will clean up. We'll call everybody. Y'all get out of here. And as they're flying home, Vision is like, hey, maybe we should have removed Ultron's remains ourselves.
That won't come back. Wasn't there an
evil
nun in the previous issue?
Duh.
Yeah, it was robots.
There was an evil. They were robots, but these are, I think, the good nuns, or at least they're humans. Mm-hmm. I think that was a fake nun before, but I think that I don't know. I feel like Iron Man and Hank Pym and all the rest of the Avengers are flying away from Ultron's dead robot body. Seems unrealistic to me. Like they would have at least just like, yeah, we're taking this body because
it is like
evil robot.
We don't talk about it that much. This is the Marvel method in action, where it's like this to me is very clearly Sal Buscema drew these pages, and Jim Shooter's like, so they're just gone. Like he's like, yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna put dialogue in where they're like, why did we leave?
So they get home and they're all like, oh, hey, look, Hawkeye's here. Hey, Hawkeye, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, good to be back. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, hey, by the way, there's this dude and I tied him up. And it was a really nice sitcom moment where they all realize, like, oh, Gyrich! And they run over to untie him and everything. I do like that Iron Man tries to BS him and is like, well, hey, our security worked, didn't it? He's like, it worked on accident, you son of a bitch. It was good. I like that scene a lot. Yeah.
I've been playing Disco Elysium, and it definitely felt like a moment in that where you're just like trying to pull something out of your ass. Like, well, it worked out, didn't it? And you're like, you have no idea what you're doing.
Oh man. But he revokes their Avengers priority status. Oh no, he's got he's so pissed at them.
Like disconnects that, now, right?
They pull the plug, and he just can't. They can't get in contact with a lot of people anymore, or something.
They don't have their phones anymore. He took away their phones. Oh, Dad.
No, come on. And also they're still just like talking about these disappearances. Like, all right, we gotta deal with these. And then Jarvis runs in to say, hey, guys, Tyrak is attacking the harbor.
He was jogging and he heard a police report.
Well, and first Scarlet Witch ignores. She's like, I shouldn't push this button since we have just lost this status. But I'm going to do it anyway. And then it's her sister-in-law, Crystal, being like, Quicksilver disappeared mysteriously. Which they say happened last issue. Did that happen last issue? Did I completely forget that scene?
I think so. There was.
I do remember.
We've talked about Crystal. I don't know if it was last issue or not, but yes.
Maybe a couple years ago. Yeah, maybe a couple issues ago.
Yeah, maybe it was 2 issues ago because I don't remember that.
I don't remember it last issue, but yeah. So
I remember Two Gun Kid disappeared, but yeah, suddenly Tyrak is the Avengers' biggest threat in the world. We need to call
right now they got to deal with it.
We got to call every Avenger you can possibly call to solve it. And right before they're like, who's Tyrak? Like, I don't know who Tyrak is. Who is he? We should probably send every Avenger.
Well, no. So hold on. They don't send every Avenger. So Iron Man is going to split everybody up. He says, okay, I need Wonder Man, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, who we didn't mention. Miss Marvel's hanging out with the team right now. We have Wanda and we have Vision. They're going to go deal with Tyrak on the harbor. Yellow Jacket and Wasp are going to contact every Avenger who's ever been an Avenger because they need them because Avengers are disappearing. And
that's why. Okay, not related to Tyrak. Okay, that makes more sense to me.
And then Beast and Thor are on standby in case another disaster pops up, which seems like a bad idea because Thor's pretty strong. Maybe you should send him to the problem you already have.
He's been disappearing a lot lately.
Yeah,
he has. He's been on and off disappearing.
But still, it seems like Thor by himself could deal with the Tyrek situation, and you just could then everyone else could focus on it and be like, "All right, Thor, you got this."
Yeah. What if he disappears though?
Oh, then
they do say everybody has to like stick with your friend, like stay with a buddy or something. That everyone stays in groups. And Beast says, "Well, who are you? What about you?" And he says, "Well, I'm going to be in the lab working on this stuff, and I'll be in constant touch with Tony Stark." So cool.
That kind of violates the buddy system immediately, you idiot.
Yeah, good cover there. Yeah, you should say that your buddy is Tony Stark. That way, people won't ask that many questions of like, how are you going to solve this problem?
So then we get the majority of the rest of this book now is this fight scene where they deal with Tyrek, who's just like beating up a ship.
But also like introduced like in that bad coloring where he's just like one color and not detailed and very small in the panel. Like I don't see. It takes us a while to even see who Tyrek is.
Yeah, and he's I guess
Which
like he is an Atlantean, is that right?
Yes.
Or and he's I don't know. There's nothing special about this dude. He's just a bad dude, and he's beating stuff up.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. He's embarrassed that he lost to the Avengers like a year ago, or issue 150 something.
He also doesn't
156.
He also doesn't want to spill the blood of white women. Doesn't want to do that.
He does say that. So
wow.
we do end up. The thing is going pretty well until Vision, like I don't know. There's something goes on with Vision, and he's kind of out for the count, and Wonder Man's kind of tending to him.
Are Atlanteans racist? Is this like a whole? They have like a caste system with like blue and I guess Namor's white, isn't he? So
Namor's. I mean, Namor also seems pretty racist, though.
He hates. Yeah, he's racist and sexist. He calls Miss Marvel a stupid female when he thumbs her or thumbs her. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Stupid
well,
female.
and she's like, I'm a Kree warrior. I'm not just a white lady.
So I do like this. There is a really nice, like, she kind of takes the lead, and there's a nice 1v1 section between her and Tyrek. And Wonder Man sees this, and he's like, "What? I gotta go help her. Forget Vision." And he like runs over there and like pushes her out of the way so he can punch Tyrek instead. And she's like, "What the hell are you doing? I had this, and now you've like screwed up my spot here." And so, you know, of course, the fight scene goes well. They eventually get one over on Tyrek. How does it happen? Nice little scene of him.
Somebody
like, looking like
dehydrates him for some reason because all things on Earth can't handle being dehydrated.
Yes. Scarlet Witch like hexes him to like make him lose his strength temporarily because he's beating up Wonder Man and Ms. Marvel, and then he's like Scarlet Witch, I'm gonna kill her, and so he's like lumbering over there, and Vision's like, "Stay away from my wife," and zaps him with his energy beams.
Wow. Good stuff. And then afterwards, Ms. Marvel is like, "Hey, you know, that wasn't cool. You might be worth educating. I'm out of here." And he also was like, "Boy, I don't understand women ever since I was suspended in animation for that long. Hey, Vision disappeared. Oh no!" And now they're dealing with that.
Yeah.
And they can't get a ride, so they throw him back into the ocean.
Yeah. They're like, we can't call the cops. We don't have any security clearance, so let's just throw him back in the ocean. He's gonna die if he stays here.
They just are leaving all of their problems behind in this issue. Wow. So now we cut to Luke Charles. Is that his name? Yeah, Luke Charles, who I guess is
Black Panther.
Yes.
You can see his costume, but yes, that's his alias as a high school teacher.
Yeah, Black Panther.
He's hired as an adjunct professor right now for something.
And they get a call from the Wasp, of course, because all the Avengers are being notified. He's the only one we see in this issue getting notified, but he says, "Yeah, I can be at this meeting for the Avengers in New York, no problem."
So he's a high school teacher? Is that his cover right now? That seems that seems like a real bad.
I don't know about high school, but he gets a letter.
He was originally. I don't know what Luke Charles is doing now, but when he first this was Avengers like issues like 70, so 100 issues ago, he would constantly be like, "Yes, I know from teaching high school of all these things," because that's like his way to learn about America.
I don't understand.
Like a really bad job for
for a superhero.
Yeah.
Well, think about the hours. He's out of there by like 3. He can go
No,
superhero.
our teachers work
think
way
about all the
longer
papers
past
you got to
3.
grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was the 70s too, so they had a better union. So
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
And he's up
fair.
at
And they probably
5:30.
did actually not have to work summers.
Yeah, he's up at
So-
5:30 in the morning to go start his day. Yeah, insane.
yeah, I like that he
I
gets a
am, like-
letter. He gets a letter about how he's wants to do special courses. They want him to do special courses on African culture, which I think is kind of funny to me because they're like,
they
oh,
just
this guy's from Africa, and then
yeah.
it's like he's the biggest expert on the secret city that he can't tell anybody about that's protected by camouflage vibranium. So I just imagine him just constantly slipping up during these lectures, being like, "Oh yeah, no, we have flying vehicles. It's oh no, wait, no, we don't."
But he's also like this is a new alias for himself that he has created, who is a high school teacher. And like the idea that the New York School Board would like reach out to them to be like, hey, can you come to New York and teach a short series on this stuff? Like that seems a little weird to just reach out to a random high school teacher who probably hasn't been in the game for more than a few years here. But whatever.
He's very good.
Must be really good. Yeah. So what else do we got? A nice little scene with Iron Man and Hank and Janet, and they're just kind of talking about like, oh, we gotta figure out what's going on, blah blah blah.
Yeah, they're like Beast won't be in the book for the next couple of issues. He's hanging out with the X-Men.
Yes, and did Henry Gyrich? No, he's still doing whatever he's dealing with. Thor left as well to deal with some other stuff, and then we see the dude in the shadows who has captured all of these heroes, and it's got to be Korvac, right? Got to be Korvac.
I would hope so.
I would hope so. If it's not Korvac, where are we going here?
I got some bad news.
Oh boy. Well, it's all right. We'll get to the Korvac saga eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, a nice little issue. What a weird selection of heroes to capture as well. He's got Quicksilver, Captain America. Is that Moondragon there?
Yeah, I was gonna say Moondragon, who's not been in the book at all.
When did he get hurt? Yeah, we got Vision, Two Gun Kid, and Joe Costa, who's a villain. So very strange selection of people here.
Yeah. It's almost like he's collecting them.
Is this somebody?
I know
Benicio del Toro?
Yeah, Thanos.
Benicio collector in the Marvel universe, Thanos.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens next time. But
I see Hercules
guess eventually...
on the cover, so that sounds good.
Oh, Hercules and Black Widow, yeah. And interesting.
And then there were none. So Agatha Christie thing.
Good. Great.
That looks like a Perez cover, so it looks like he's back.
Oh, he's not.
He's not.
It's Micheline and Buscema again.
Hey, when do we get some more George Perez back? Get back here, George.
I like Buscema's art. It is funny. Like I read both the version that I gave Nick, which is the like the scanned versions that are from like 2007 or 8 that have all the ads and that are not the like digital versions that like Marvel redid for whatever project. I forget what it is, but basically they rescanned all their stuff to digitally color it, and I think it looks better on Nick's version. Like the coloring looks really dark and like muddy in some of the digital stuff, where I think it looks better when it's literally just a scan of the comics page. Like you get a better sense of like, oh, this is what a comic looks like. And Nick, did you want to point out any quality ads that you read?
Oh, there were such good ones. There was one that was sponsored by Hostess Snack Cakes. And it was literally just these kids just bothering the Hulk, being like, we're having a picnic and a parade. You got to get out of here. And he's like, I hate you. And then they give him a Hostess Snack Cake, and then he's not evil anymore.
Yes. There's not even a villain. It's literally just, he's like, what is picnic? And they're like, well, we sit around and eat fruit pies. And he's like, okay.
There's some good ones. And then just like your regular like get buff scams or like your sell stuff for us scams. And then the letter section, which I can't tell if they just write them themselves or if Marvel really had such sycophants in the 70s.
No, it's definitely real because again, I read that. And I think we even covered this because it's that death of Thanos and sacrifice of Adam Warlock where Thanos turns into stone.
Yeah.
Vince, if you remember that.
Yes.
But yeah, there were people that were just loving that issue. They were very excited, and they were just like, "Wow, it's so moving. Adam Warlock's just like me."
My favorite one was Dear Jim. Michelangelo had his Sistine Chapel. Da Vinci had his Mona Lisa, and Beethoven had his Fifth Symphony. Now you have Avengers Annual number 7. What more can one person say?
Wow.
It's amazing that there wasn't a fifth Ninja Turtle named Shooter.
And like the first 3 letters are from guys in New Jersey. And it got me thinking, because I know George R.R. Martin was from New Jersey, and he wrote a letter to Marvel when he was like 14. And I'm like, is there like a high school teacher in the 70s just assigning like Marvel comics?
Yeah, Black Panther. We saw him.
Exactly.
Just a minute ago.
Oh, that guy.
Working out in New Jersey. Yeah, it's an extra credit if you write a really fawning letter to Marvel.
Wow.
But no, it was great. I loved it.
We'll publish your whole address. Or they still publish whole addresses in the 70s?
Yes,
I know in the
they
60s
do.
they did.
I'm looking at them. Tim Lukeman, 5 Oakwood Lane, Rumson, New Jersey, 07760. I'm going to write him a letter right now.
I remember my aunt got mugged, and they posted her address in the newspaper article. They're like, Dora of such and such address was mugged on the street today, but she got away by beating up the assailant. And I'm like, don't put her address in there.
Don't put that. Wow.
They're going to try to finish their job.
That's a terrible idea.
the muggers reading like, oh, okay, this is where she lives.
Wow. Fucking nuts. Okay, well, I think that's it for. Okay, what are we doing next time here? We are reading, of course, Avengers 173. How far are we going with Avengers? We're going through issue 177.
Yeah, we still got 5
so
issues.
this Korvac Saga better get started soon. We've read a lot of issues here. And then we are reading for main read. We're going to do another one of the Age of Apocalypse miniseries that we've kind of been reading intermittently here. We're going to do Factor X. It's a 4-issue miniseries that, of course, replaced the X Factor miniseries. This was the Age of Apocalypse version. And this is John Francis Moore writing with Steve Epting, friend of the show, on art. I feel like he comes up a lot on our show. So, we'll be doing that next time. What else do we got to talk about here? How's your Stupid Minds doing? What are y'all up to?
Oh, am I supposed to do the promo, or are you going to do it?
Well, normally Chris does it, but, you're here. So we're going to make you do it because why not?
Yeah, well, we just did. What did we just do?
Snake Eyes.
Oh, we did
G.I. Joe Origins.
That's right. We just did Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins that just came out on Thursday. We both kind of liked it. We thought it was fun. And this is like the 4th ninja movie that we've done trying to watch a bad movie and then it end up being kind of cool. Okay. And it got me to start watching Warrior on HBO Max.
Bruce Lee show, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
And so the guy who plays Storm Shadow in this movie, he plays the main character, sort of who would have been the Bruce Lee character. Andrew Koji's his name, and he's good in both of them. Like Snake Eyes is not a great movie, but he has like a great face and a really good, like he plays particularly a villain or like a cool guy villain really well. So I think that he's pretty cool. But that is that's Your Stupid Minds. You can find us on all the podcasty things that you would normally find podcasts.
And I'm still famously banned from that show.
Famously banned.
I'm like Ozzy Osbourne peeing on the Alamo. But it was at that time I peed on Batman Returns. Not allowed back.
Yeah, no, that's what. No, we didn't ban you, but yeah, every time you come on, you do one that is controversial.
Oh wow!
I guess you did that whatever that shitty Bond one was.
The Spy Who Loved Me was my first.
Not even a bad
Bond
movie.
My first podcast I ever did.
Yeah, you did that one, and there are Bond lovers out there, so that ruffled some feathers. And then you did Batman Returns, something that is generally considered by people to be good, even though it's not.
Yeah.
People our age.
Yes, people our age.
Because if you invite me and Kia on to do Batman Forever, we will fawn over how good of a movie that is, and we'll ruffle more feathers.
Yeah.
Just like All-Star Batman and Robin, but they did the death scene a little better, where he's shouting, "I'm Batman."
It's so good. It's such a good movie. I watched Sonic 2, and there was a point where Jim Carrey almost went into his Riddler in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I was chomping at the bit. He was like, Sonic, you say? I'm counting on it. He almost did it.
It's not in Batman Forever, but whenever my son gets a little too goofy, like if he's a little out of control, I will not sanction your buffoonery, which is what Tommy Lee Jones told Jim Carrey personally while they were working on that movie. He just hated him so much.
Amazing.
Such a good movie.
Thank goodness for Jim Carrey, because he's a treasure. Maybe I'll have to watch that Sonic movie. Does he go fast? Did you see it? It was good.
It was really good. It's Jim Carrey like at 1994 camp, and then like the Sonic characters are reasonably good with their IP. It's all you'd ask for.
Does Sonic get pregnant?
Wow. No.
All right, then it doesn't have everything I'm asking for.
He doesn't smooch Shadow the Hedgehog yet. But that may be Sonic 3. They're holding out.
What about that hot Southern cyborg?
Was it the Kentucky Fried Chicken? No, not that one. The one
Bunny Rabbit or whatever her name was.
Oh man, Nick, I don't know if you listened to our Sonic the Hedgehog comics episode, but it was quite the episode.
I have forgotten every character that was in there, and we learned about a lot of characters.
Yeah, I only remember the hot cyborg rabbits.
Who could forget?
That talk like Rogue.
Yeah, what was her name? Shit.
I think it was Bunny Rabbit.
It was like Bunny St. Clair or something. It implied that there was sainthood in the Sonic the Hedgehog universe.
Yes.
Oh,
after you guys talking about this, Chris texting me before this recording and saying, I think All-Star Batman and Robin is the worst one we've ever done. This is the worst comic. While you're talking about like the Sonic robot comic.
Yeah. Look, I said Batman, All-Star Batman #3 might be the single worst issue, which I stand by.
I think you're right. I think it's the worst. Yeah. Well, I think it's time for us to end the show before we just go off on a loop of bad things here. But so this is Nick. This is the end of the show where I usually go around and tell people that I love them. And I'll start with Vince, so you kind of get the gist of it. Vince, I love you.
I love you too, Kia.
Nick, I love you.
I love you too, Love Chunks.
Wow, thank you. Chris, I love you.
What are you? Are you blank?
The R word or something?
That was what you had planned? You were going to say the R word?
No, change it to where I just stomped on the ground and Kia fell over.
Yes. Ow. Yeah, we changed it. It took us a year to get this episode out, but we came to a good decision about how we were going to end it here. And listeners, of course, we love you as well. Thank you so much for listening. And as an extra special thank you to Nick for being on as well. Really appreciate having you here. And everybody, make sure to check out the Your Stupid Minds podcast. But yeah,
thank you for having me.
Of course. And good night, everybody. Bye.